Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stream. Today is November 17th, Friday, 2023. If you want to know, it's time to see what will happen after the Exarch was downed, was gunned down by Emmet Selk, and we all kind of feel sad about it. But first, before we do that, we have some business in Gridania. We have to empty our... And I'm level 80. I have to decide what to do with... Let's go and see the retainers. I have sold something, but not... Okay, let's adjust the prices. $1,000. Okay. $34,000. $10,000 probably. Another 10,000. You better quit selling your gear. I'm gonna sell everything. I need money. Man, this shirt. Let's try with 26,000. Okay, let's find out if Emily will cry today. Look at how the quest is called Reassuring the Masses. Like I'm some kind of dictator and I have to ensure the masses. Well, well. Look who's back from the dead. Aye, it was a grim sight. Your companions looked fair. Ah, so you have a head start. Right? 1, 2, 3. Let me just adjust 1, 2, 3. No, this is the volume of just a second. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Ah, okay. This is probably a little bit better as a microphone volume. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it sounds okay to you. Yes, but I'm over the threshold, so yeah, this is better. Aye, it was a grim sight. Your companions looked fair ready to drop when they brought you in, so I offered a helping hand. Couldn't bear to see them struggle, so... And you, my friend, I feared you had one foot in the grave. Cold and lifeless you were, like a corpse that was somehow still breathing. When they told me evil bastard went and snatched our poor exarch away in the midst of the chaos, wicked white, what is this world coming to? Bah, but moaning never solved the thing, did it? Nay, it's times like these that we Restarium folk stand tall and do what needs to be done. Trade with Yulmore is back on the table. We'd best make use of those resources to fortify the city against the Eaters, or whatever misery the fates deem fit to throw at us next. Speaking of misery, Jessamine was worried sick about you. A healer wringing her hands is not a sight you ever wish to see, let me tell you. Yeah, okay. Let's go and reassure the whole city, like I even care. I have my own problems, you know. Oh, sweetie, you're alive. No one's been allowed to see you. Even Spagyrics chirurgeons were forbidden from making visits. Rin was kind enough to tell me you were showing symptoms similar to ether corruption, so I suppose there was little any of us could have done for you in any case. As for your companions, they've been rushing hither and yon, seeking a cure to your condition. I worry to see their faces grown ever more haggard every time they pass through the crystarium. I shall let them know you're awake, and when they come to see you, sweetie, please do convince them to rest a bit. They won't be helping anyone if they all collapse of exhaustion. And our own Moran has been little better, I'm afraid. He hasn't left the cabinet, too busy with his nose buried in one dusty tome or another. Confound it. This says the same thing as the last. Mayhap I should approach the problem from a different perspective. Unskilled. Is it truly you and not some figment of my imagination? Oh, but this is wonderful. It seems our prayers have been answered. Feeling otherwise helpless, I've been scouring our shelves for the wisdom to explain this most worrisome conundrum. Why, with all the light wardens defeated, has the light returned to obscure the sky? I must have bored over 100 tomes, but no definitive conclusion seems forthcoming. So many questions I would pose to the Exarch, and thus do I feel his absence all the more keenly. Now that you are awake, however, I'm hopeful to search for our stolen steward might begin in earnest. Catlis, meanwhile, leads the crystalline mean in preparations for battle, though against what foe we are as yet uncertain. Why not pay her a visit? I expect seeing you upright would be a much welcome relief. You know, last night we had riots here in the capital. because of our soccer federation, we, yeah, we, we, it's yeah. Don't you have something on the news? It's on the world media already. Yeah, well, it's very serious for us, by the way. Oh my God, where the fuck is? Because our national soccer team used to be good. We earned bronze medals in the World Cup back in '94, when it was held in USA. Yes, and since then, the players who won these bronze medals were the actual leaders of our soccer federation, and since then, our national team is going down, and our soccer teams are generally going in only down, and the last straw was last night when we had a qualifier with Hungary for Euro 2024, and it was without public, without audience, and this really pissed off our fans and the whole country, and there were protests, and the police started to beat the protesters, and they respond with riots. There were fires and etc. and yeah and today a lot of people from our and the chief of our soccer federation is probably one of the most hated men in the country, and he still doesn't want to resign. He says that he is not the one to blame, and the quality of our football players is really low, and that's the reason that our and the other chief of the football federation last night, when he was getting out of the football game, he showed the middle finger to the medias on his way out, and he's the second most hated person in the country. and all of these people were our best generation of soccer players, and they are now they are now managers of our football, but our football doesn't develop. We are we are among the weakest football forces in Europe, and everybody is mocking us. And you know that soccer is religion here in Europe, and we are really pissed off, and we are really ashamed that all the other nations are calling us soccer dwarfs, and it's really unpleasant. So we want a change. Soccer dwarfs, yeah. It's really it's really insulting, yeah. This is one of the greatest insult to call your nation soccer dwarf. Yeah. Well, it's not funny. It's really very very derogatory and very humiliating to be called this way by the other nations. Unskilled, alive and well, I see. Gave us all. So people went out to protest last night, and the police did not agree with their protest very much. So the protest became a riot. You know that not a days go by that I haven't heard folk worrying what's to become of you or the Exarch. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, I'm glad you've recovered enough to stand. You're not planning on striking out straight away, though, are you? I was hoping to have a better look at your equipment. And actually, the game finished 2-2. We didn't play too bad. We almost won, but they managed to equalize in the very last second of the game. So it was a good game for our team, but the patience for our federation managers is really gone, non-existent. So the entire country wants these people out. If we'd been able to provide you with better weapons or sturdier helms, then maybe you would have won the day, and the Exarch would still be here. I'll be right back, bathroom. Oh. I mean, Croatia, you know the country Croatia? They are our neighbors. Croatia has 2 times less population than us, and they played a final in the last World Cup. and we cannot defeat teams like Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, and Gibraltar, which is really humiliating. As such, we are keeping busy consulting each other on new forging techniques and designs and the like. If you could stand still a moment, I'd like to assess the gear we're trying to improve. Aye, well, that's some fine work, I must admit. Wouldn't be impossible to make something better, but we need to experiment with different patterns and materials, and I'm not sure we have the kind of time. There you go. On ABC News. That sounds like a challenge that he would enjoy. Greetings, Glenart. The master of the stairs is running his own errands now, is he? Aye, well, my servers are distraught enough as it is, and I didn't want to crack the whip too hard. But never mind that. I'm thinking our absent genius and his epiphanies are the perfect answer to this predicament of yours. And by genius you mean old Grenold? He is a man of unrivaled gifts. I won't argue with you there. But what good does his talent do to us if we can't bloody find him? No one's seen hide nor hair of Grenold since he wandered off some years ago. You know what he's like once he latched onto an idea. He's probably cloistered himself in some forgotten cave, completely absorbed in his latest creation. I wouldn't even know where to start looking. That does make things difficult. Still, if that eccentric is someone you're destined to meet, I wager he'll show up soon enough. In my time at the bar, many's the tale I've heard told of strangely fated encounters, even if a few of them might be stretching the truth just a bit. We'll keep our noses to the grindstone for the time being, but on the off chance you do encounter Grenold, you'd be wise to take advantage of his brilliance rather than wait on our slow and steady progress. This is all talk for when you're fully recovered, of course. I'll let you get back to convalescing, yeah? Ah, before you do that, you're actually the person I came over here in the first place. I don't suggest partaking of my stock until you're properly well, but if you are passing here the stairs, then I've a regular who's eager to see you. I'd best be getting back just because the world's coming apart at the seams doesn't mean we have to follow suit now, does it? Here, here. Can't forget the heart upon which the city was founded, or the exarch might not have much of a home to return to. Unskilled, are you alright? I think a return to your sickbed might be in order. Ah, or you might consider resting a while atop the watchtower next to the rookery. This damnable sky doesn't make for the most soothing scenery, but the exarch often liked to stand there and feel the wind upon his face. Will I be. Ah! No. Oh, for Christ's sake. Ah, almost. Okay, one last time. Oh, for Christ's sake. I have to watch a video. How do they do it? Emily, I sent you a link from ABC.
The people of this city have spirit, I'll give them that. They've not lost the will to fight. I can imagine how torn you must feel, looking at that sky, knowing what it means to everyone, and that you're responsible.
I'd rather people knew.
If you're thinking of coming clean, don't. It might make you feel better, but it would make things 100 times worse for them. They're better off not knowing. You're in a corner, and there doesn't seem to be any obvious way out.
He's still a little bit annoying.
But that doesn't mean it's over. However hopeless it seems, you haven't lost yet. I remember looking up at the sky like this before. Being caught up in a strange kind of calm. It was after we realized we were responsible for the flood. When we resolved to journey to the source by taking our own lives. One last sacrifice. One last fight. One last failure. And then the Oracle appeared and, well, you know the rest.
They took, did I hear correctly? They took their own lives? In order to go to our realm?
There were times in the years and decades that followed when I wondered if we might not have been better off just letting the rejoining happen. That we'd made one last mistake. But seeing that giant Talos stir to life cured me of any doubts I still had. Always we took the burden of fighting upon ourselves. That's what heroes do, isn't it? So we never had the chance to see anything like that. Our people coming together as one.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of remember, yeah. It was so long ago.
To think that their hope still burned so bright. That they were still so eager to live, they would lift up their fellows, one on top of the other, till they reached the sky. No. We made the right decision. And I can finally feel proud of the part we played in helping this world survive. Well, come on then.
Oh. Brofist.
What happened between us was no coincidence. My story may be finished, but the fates have gifted me a minor role in yours.
Is it because of they are both of Hydaelyn? Because of the blessing of Hydaelyn, they are both warriors of.
I suspected as much the moment I realized you could hear me. But it's hard not to doubt yourself when you're the man who caused the flood. I was afraid to do anything more than watch for fear of making things even worse. But no longer. After all, the path I once walked is now yours to finish. For what it's worth, I cast my lot with yours. If you need a push, I'll be right there behind you. If you lose control, I'll do my best to stop you. So, let us be about it, hero.
You were up here all alone, brooding and fretting and wallowing in your woes. But look at you, grinning at nothing like a pollen-drunk pixie. Look at what you've done to your ether. It's a mess. And you have cracks running all through that pretty soul of yours. My poor little sapling. Whatever am I to do with you?
I can think of a couple of things.
Shall I yield up my throne? You could claim it, cut ties with the mortal world, hide away in the castle. It won't fix the problem, but would it really matter? If any pesky heroes come calling with steel and magic, all of Ilmeg will rise up in your defense. My crown and scepter are yours, if you want them. What? Don't give me that look. Of course I knew before I asked that you'd never ever heed such a wicked suggestion.
Actually, today I cried a lot too. By the way, it hasn't happened recently for a long time. I mean, and I was surprised. It was in this sci-fi show I am watching now, Star Trek Discovery, and there was a cybernetically enhanced woman who was in the crew of the starship Discovery, and she sacrificed herself in order to save her friends and her shipmates, and I cried so much, man. It was so horrible. I cried like a donkey with a voice. she died like a hero, and I was like, "Ah!" Sacrifices and acts of heroism get me so much. I don't know why.
And besides, what would become of my precious and ephemeral flower? Oh, my dear beloved sapling, you are lost, confused, and have precious little time to gather your wits. Your kind is always so preoccupied with what lies ahead, and so we muddle your vision with fog and glamour. But such trickery is easy to see through. Stand very, very still. Think not of where you need to go, but where you are right now at this moment, at this time, in this place. Our cairn of crystal. From shadowed hood he watched you go, his ruby eyes with warmth aglow. See yourself as he saw you, and that shall be the clearest clue. You stand in his garden, dear sapling. Ask his flowers what they know, and you will surely find an answer. But what will you do with it, I wonder? I'll be watching and waiting. Waiting and watching.
Oh, I did not expect to see you on your feet so soon. Surely you have not come in search of an Amaro. What do I know of the Crystal Exarch? I'm happy to share, but I fear there will be no surprising revelations. As any in this city could tell you, he is a man of wisdom and compassion and many untold secrets, but none can doubt his generosity. When the Crystarium was being constructed, he even allowed folk to plunder the tower for resources. He has imposed no restrictions upon us but one. No one except the Exarch is permitted to dwell within the spire. Many seasons passed. A comrade of mine was bold enough to ask the reason why. The Exarch merely smiled and said, because one day the Crystal Tower may vanish as suddenly as it arrived. Unskilled, it is good to see you awake and alert, my friend. What's this about? You're not writing the Exarch's memoirs, are you? I'm not sure how much I can tell you, considering we avoid asking too many questions, unspoken rule, and all that. If anyone has fresh insights to share, they need to be Captain Lena, I'd say. She lost her parents to an eater attack not long after she was born, and the Exarch saw to her bringing. Outward appearances aside, those two are like grandfather and granddaughter. I imagine the news of his predicament hit her doubly hard. Not that our proud captain would ever let it show. If you do decide to talk to Lena, she'll be at her usual post at the accessor gate. Oh, was there something else you need? You've come for the results of my research into the persistent light. I'm afraid there's little to tell you as of yet. Records pertaining to the Exarch? Well, I need no documentation to relay what little I know of his history, if that is what interests you. Uh-huh. Less than a decade had passed since the coming of the flood, when the Crystal Tower first flashed into existence. Its summoner, the Exarch himself, became known to the refugees in Lakeland soon thereafter. He welcomed all who sought out the spire, be they locals who had lost their homes, Voberates fleeing their ruined kingdom, and together did they found the city which would become the Crystarium. Some thought to call him king, for he refused to share his name, but the summoner did not deem himself worthy of royal address. Thus did the people consider his scintillating skin so alike to the tower he had summoned, and bestowed upon him the title of Crystal Exarch. As for his true name, well, it seemed that is a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Unskilled, I was not told you had awoken. A welcome surprise. Now if only the Exarch has returned to us. He was taken by this rival of yours, was he not? Your companions mentioned they had an idea of where to find him, and so I bristled when they asked for patience. I did not understand their hesitation until I saw that you had fallen. Only then did I realize that I had no business rushing ahead. Even so, the delay has been no less agonizing. In the moments before he left to join you in Calusia, The Exarch entrusted me with the key. It opens the door in the ocular to a chamber known as the Umbilicus. This room is the heart of the tower, into which only the Exarch himself is permitted to enter. Bid me allow none into the tower once he had departed, only in the event of that of an army of eaters descended upon the city. Was I to access the Umbilicus and awaken the defensive barrier? Never before had he left me with such instructions, but the battle with Votri loomed near, and at the time I accepted the key without much thought. Since then, however, that moment is all that occupies my mind. When I recall the look upon his face, I knew that some terrible fate awaited him. Tell me, Unskilled, I need to know what he feared. What battle you and your companions are truly fighting. Forgive me. I trust in the Exarch and I should not be voicing these doubts when he is not here to respond to them personally. But you have come to me with a question of your own, have you not? Ah, I see I'm not the only one who burns for answers. The time has come to open the tower's heart. Though we do not face an invasion of eaters, I suspect the city will be in far more danger if you do not gain the knowledge you seek. Be right back, 5 minutes. Come, meet me in the ocular and I will unlock the door within. Master and skill.
I have unlocked the door to the umbilicus. You are free to enter. Once you have what you require, I'll see it sealed once more. Until then, I will remain without.
A moment to collect my thoughts, I prithee. Thy true name is Grahatia, then. By thy claims, thou too art a native of the Source, though from an age beyond our own, when the 8th umbral calamity hath visited devastation upon our star. Thou hast, by subtle means, reached across the boundaries of time and space to unsow the seeds of catastrophe, ere its creeping vines drag our champion unto an early grave.
In essence, yes. A difficult story to swallow, I am sure.
I doubt not the veracity of thy words, not the account of thy coming, nor that of the fated calamity. Yet my mind straineth still to apprehend the enormity of this tale. Wouldst thou favor me with a gradual unfolding of its chapters?
Certainly. But where to begin? I should start with those great minds who survived the calamity. Sid Garland being perhaps the greatest. In hopes of staying the unending tides of war, he and his fellows pursued all manner of possible solutions. One of these was rooted in a theory which unified several fundamental principles discovered over the course of the Warrior of Light's adventures. It proposed a method by which one could enter the River of Time, traverse the rift, and leap between worlds. Perfecting that idea, however, was a work which consumed their lifetimes, and thus was it left to future generations to decide whether theory would be put into practice. But all the while, the world continued to burn. Hope was a feeble outpost, beset on all sides by thievery and misery and murder. People cried out in despair, "There is no hope, we are finished. Mankind is finished." Then others raised their voices in answer. Though we be beyond salvation, those who came before may yet be saved. We will forge a crossroads and pave the way for a different future. By the wisdom of our forebears, we will prevent this calamity from ever having come to pass. The fighting went on unabated, but some few took up Cid's research and labored to realize those impossible ideas. After 2 centuries of labor, their descendants finally succeeded in awakening the Crystal Tower, an integral part of the process, and, in doing so, roused its caretaker, me. By this stage, scholars had largely established the phenomena underpinning the rejoining, and identified the first as the shard which precipitated the 8th Umbral Calamity. This grand structure was already capable of storing the energies required to attempt the translocation. All that remained was to augment some few of its functions based upon the theoretical models of Cid and his compeers.
And by means of such technologies didst thou effect thine arrival in the first, to an age before this star had joined with the Source.
Some while before, as it turned out. 'Tis all but impossible to predict how time will flow between one world and the next, and we missed our mark by almost an entire century. But this only worked in our favor. The Sin Eaters could not be defeated without the blessing of light, and summoning the only man who might stand a chance against them would require decades of preparation.
An undertaking of scarce credible endurance. That thou hast kept thy plan from falling into disarray these many years bordereth on the miraculous. Yet howsoever history be rewritten, thy present self was shaped by events which followed the calamity. Should said catastrophe be averted, the very skein of thine existence will unravel. Surely thou hast foreseen this.
I am aware of the consequences. 'Tis for that very reason Cid and his colleagues bequeathed their legacy as an offering, and not an edict. To give all of oneself for the happiness of others, and with no promise of reward, 'tis a hard thing to ask. Harder still for those condemned to survive in a world which pitted brother against brother. Indeed, you are right to call the execution of this plan miraculous, though the force which held it together was nothing so inexplicable. It was him. The warrior of light has been our unbroken thread. Where others would stumble and fall, he would rise above. Where others would break and run, he would carry on. The warrior of light's tale is one of unyielding bravery. To tell it was to feel courage. To hear it was to feel hope. It was a breath of inspiration in an age of suffocating shadow. In the histories of a fallen nation was our hero hailed as its greatest ally. In the time-worn pages of a noble's memoirs were his deeds joyously retold. For many, these stories were the flame which warmed them through the coldest of nights. And so it should come as little surprise that the plan found no shortage of volunteers, concerning as it did the warrior of light himself. He was the lodestar that brought them all together, to send their final message back through time and space to him. The light of your legacy was our torch in the darkness. burn bright again and live. I am merely the bearer of that wish, come to ensure it is safely delivered.
Wherefore sharest thou this burden with me and no other? What wouldst thou have me say?
That you will be my accomplice? 'Twas you yourself who convinced me of your suitability when you spoke of how you learned of the Flood, and of your part in arranging Minfilia's journey to the First. Your actions showed uncommon resolve. 'Twas clear you were committed to the cause of saving this world. I knew I could trust you to choose the right path forward, even if that choice came with a heavy price.
What price?
When all is said and done, and the last of the Light Wardens lies slain, I will absorb their corrupted ether, and then I will die. Knowing what I know of your companions, not to mention your champion, they will try to stop me. But in saving one, they would save none. Therefore, I implore you to aid me in concealing my identity, and ensuring this tale ends as it must. To this end, I would have you take what I have told you of the Calamity, and make of it a portent. A prophetic vision you beheld in the swirling chaos of the Rift.
Is this truly thy wish?
History remembered the Warrior of Light, as I knew it would. And I will suffer no other to rescue the champion whose star has charted my course. I will see this tale to a happy end, my friend. There has been enough tragedy.
Careful now. If you lose control again, the Light could claim you for good. Although it's probably only a matter of time before you succumb to the change in any case. What do you mean to do?
I mean to rescue the Exarch.
Then we should be on our way. Diassian mentioned the Tempest, did he not? That's the stormy seas around Calusia to you. His lair must be down there somewhere, hidden beneath the waves.
Did you find the answers you sought? If there is nothing more you need, I will go and lock the door. The Tempest, that is the name given to the seas by which Calusia is bound. If you make a request to the Tamers, they will provide you with an Amaru to fly you over the waters, but do you mean to leave this right this moment alone? I am not sure that. Nay, I will not seek to stop you. Go with the blessings of the Shadow, and I shall await your safe return. Oh, the Gunbreaker is level 73. Yeah. You require an Amaro? Just a moment and I shall saddle our swiftest beast, fly you to the island. The open water, to the depths of the Tempest? Our Amaro can swim, yes, but to reach the ocean floor?
Ah, we have found thee. Word reached us of thy recovery, and thus did we gather with all haste. Ah. By thy looks, I gather thou hast gleaned that which I came to tell thee.
Urianger has shared everything with us. The Exarch's true identity and purpose.
I offer no excuses. When I agreed to aid the Exarch with his plans, 'twas in full acceptance of the condemnation I would face when my duplicity was laid bare. Yet it is not rancor, but resolve that I sense in thee. Thou art fully intent upon walking thy path to its end, art thou not? If thou canst forgive my deception, or, failing that, set aside thy displeasure for a time, I do beg leave to follow thee. What strength and wisdom I possess are thine to command.
I forgive you, let's go.
I thank thee. Doubt not but that I will do all in my power to repay thy kindness and fulfill the Exarch's wishes.
I'm sorry, but I don't think this is a good idea. Leaving the Crystarium, I mean, with or without Urianger. What I did for you won't last forever. There's no telling when the light will break free again. Please, you must stay here. At least for a little while longer. We will find a way to cure this, I promise you.
How can you make promises? We don't even know where to start.
Alize, please. You know Reen was only trying to help.
Of course I know! I know only too well! But making promises you have no way of keeping is not a kindness. It's a lie. Plain and simple. We've all searched high and low for an answer, and every one of us came back empty-handed. I am not about to stand in his way now. Not after failing him in his hour of need. No! The least we can do is...
We will go with you as well. There is naught to be gained by standing still.
Indeed, we have exhausted every other avenue. Lead, and we shall follow. If there is any hope to be found, then we will surely find it at your side.
Are we all in agreement then?
Is there aught we can do to help?
Though we may not know the whole story, we do know you're in for a fight. And while the Exarch's away, it falls to the rest of us to see the Warrior of Darkness is given a proper send-off.
You told them!
No! Well, not in so many words.
Aye, we didn't need it spelled out for us. When the night sky appeared over whichever place you went to, it was harder not to put two and two together.
From the moment I heard that you and the Exarch shared the homeland, I had my suspicions. Long had he been waiting for a certain someone to arrive, and I knew at once that it must be you.
Exactly. When he went up to meet you, it was clear it was no ordinary visitor. That spring in his step spoke volumes. I could feel his excitement.
Me too! That's right!
We do not fully understand where you or the Exarch hail from, or why you've all done so much to protect us. But we are deeply grateful nonetheless. So, if there is anything at all we might do to aid your journey, you need only name it. What would you have of us?
You might have invited them to join us, where there are not so many. But come, they are waiting. What is your will, O Warrior of Darkness?
Defend the Crystorium until we return. Thou didst plan to commandeer an Amaro for thy journey to the open sea. I fear the following dive down into Emet-Selth's underwater abode, drain even thy legendary stamina. Thus, during thy convalescence, we considered the most efficacious method by reaching the depths of the Tempest, and I believe we have arrived at an elegant solution. Yet ere we discuss this step, I suggest thou dost conclude such pressing business as remains to thee in the Crystarium. Once the sea closeth above our heads, we are unlikely to surface again until our grand deed is done. Thine affairs are in order, then I shall unfold to thee my proposal. Our destination is the ocean floor, yet our goal is not simply to arrive there. Nay, we must needs have the means to breathe and fight freely. Thus would I petition the aid of one of the Fae. a being with whom I have yet to meet face to face. Rather than waste words on explanation, I bid thee follow me unto the hamlet of Sullen, which lieth to the south and west. All will become abundantly clear, I promise thee. There to the west, canst thou discern the hump of an isle rising above the water? That foliage-covered mass hideth the key to our safe descent. Swim close and plunge thee beneath the surface. Thou shalt soon divine the reason for mine insistence. Though it be much to my shame, I can but flail and flounder where thou mayest glide as a fish. I shall board a boat to the island and spare one and all the spectacle of mine inept strokes. Two curved slabs of rock seem squeezed together here, giving the impression of giant stone eyelids. Though it appears solid enough, the rock yields slightly under your touch. Was the surface gently shifting, or was it just your imagination? I cannot climb here. Okay. Well, what hast thou discerned? I've discerned that it's an ordinary island. Reminds me of certain primal. Oh, just like the big one. Yes, yes. Ah, thine impression is not inaccurate. According to the lore of the Pixies, we are even now perched upon the back of an ancient Fey entity. Its name is Bismarck, the self-same title by which we know the great feathered whale revered by Vanu Vanu of the Source. I would enlist its aid to bear us into the deep and thence banish the water with an airy sphere, alike in form to the domes which do shelter the hamlets near the Ruby Sea. With its compass, we may move unencumbered and defend ourselves when the hour of battle cometh, as it most surely shall. Now I must needs ask for silence, whilst I make my supplication.
Wir Sach, Bilan Bismail. Fallen si lor wislan. Ada si alinal.
Absolute bro. Yeah, he's a good little whale.
Van Urs Atslir, Olfothim, Iri Guath Thi.
Oh dear. I don't need to speak Fey to know that didn't go well.
We need fair wool.
Oh, my snake yak! You've learned to call me at last! And where do you go? On a trip? A journey? I knew you wouldn't give up without a fight. Oh, my precious mortal, I shall help you in any way I can. Gers Bismail win picked. Van dromi drom jakum. Van red rithje.
Ahai Una, Sahawin Wisk. Isne Rim, Sor Vierlo.
Be sure to scrub this one's teeth for him upon your return. He's only got manners.
It will be done, Your Majesty. Our deepest thanks for your timely intervention.
An agreement is reached and your departure is at hand. You wingless ones best hold on tight. May the blessings of the Fae keep you safe, Inba.
Lo fallo ruis. Van in Narsitar. Dear.
And just like that, it's all gone back to the way it was.
What was you expecting? 100 years of honey and rainbows? Seeing them Yulmore types wake up and smell the ashes was miracle enough for me.
Ah, but the magic in the air when that ladder started moving. And when that great hulking Talos rose up. Gods. I could live 1,000 years and never behold anything so amazing.
What the? Do you see that?
What a monster! Where did it even come from? Whoa there! It's not stopping. Run! Run!
Vanana Anna Tilden Sidok Iri Halvsi Thunne Aktva
The breath of Bismarck. See how it swells to form a dome beneath the waves? The waters recede. The tempest's floor is laid bare. In defiance of the blinding sky, this place holds fast to its gloom. The last refuge of he who denies the light with every fiber of his being. You stand at the precipice, hero. Journey unto the heart of darkness. Finish it.
Okay. Let's see what the Tempest is. Full glad am I that Bismarck was true to his word. We are arrived in the Tempest safe and dry. It's here that we shall find the lair of Emmet Selk, and I believe the imprisoned Exarch as well. Okay, I said that I don't believe that he's dead, but how could he be imprisoned when he was dead? For an Asian alone, it is of course a trifling matter to flee unto the rift, yet I suspect such travel is nigh impossible with a mortal in one's custody. Nay, he would not soon risk his prize when the Exarch's very body served as the key to the Crystal Tower and its powers of temporal transportation. Thus am I all but certain that this underwater realm harbored our friend and enemy both. We have but to find them. In the event that you leave the area, speak with Ine Will at Venmont Yard in Calusia to return to the Tempest. Now as for where we should be looking, I rather doubt Emmet Selk will be sitting around out in the open. I suppose we follow the slope down towards the deeper trenches and keep an eye out for rock formations large enough to house a stronghold. Let's be off then, but watch your footing. The ground is still wet and like to be slippery. See? See that creature that is called Rusalka? Rusalka? This is actually how it is mermaid on Bulgarian, is Rusalka. Just like this. finless ones, they followed me. Why have you come? Was it you who took away our water? Ah, so this is where the Ondo make their home. I had wondered. Pray forgive us any inconvenience we have caused. We were not aware your people lived here in the Tempest. We need this great dome of air that we might conduct a most urgent search, and thus beg you for your understanding. Chieftain, what are we to do? Kill them all, says the chieftain. Are you emissaries of the Ancient Ones? The mysteries have stirred. We have seen the illuminated land shining through the gloom of the abyss. If you are the emissaries, the chosen, I bid you welcome. If you are not, I bid you leave. I am not sure I understand. Would you be willing to elaborate? It would seem not. I suggest we withdraw for the moment. So what's the plan? Given your condition, I am reluctant to suggest lingering here. That said, our presently meandering search would proceed far more swiftly if we could call upon those local knowledge. Yes, I'd like to know more about this illuminated land the chieftain spoke of. Would it be Emmet Selk's stronghold, do you suppose? Perhaps he lit the lanterns upon his return? We cannot dismiss the possibility, but if these Ondo refuse to speak with us. Unskilled, do you remember my first scheme for entering Yulmore? How I had planned to ingratiate myself by offering lucrative trading opportunities with the Ondo? The individual I dealt with was reticent in manner and curious in custom, but we were able to reach an agreement nonetheless. I believe that with the right approach, we can build a similar relationship here. What kind of approach did you have in mind? That chieftain fellow didn't leave us many options. We are to tread the swiftest course, then we must needs locate its beginning. Explain our all too dramatic arrival had thrown this settlement into confusion. Were we to solve such problems as we have caused and assure our hosts thereby that our purpose here is not inimical to them, they might yet prove amenable to reason. I smell chores, but very well, if it can be done quickly. What do you think? I've nothing better to offer, but I do worry that what will happen if the Ondo's tales end up leading us to a dead end. I cannot say for certain, but I sense this tribe has a deeper connection to the Asians than first meets the eye. It warrants further investigation. Thus I cast my vote in favor of aiding the settlement for the time being. We will make allies of the Ondo. Then it is settled. Ishtola, pray proceed with your investigations. The rest of us will see about fostering some goodwill. Unskilled, you won't believe who I've just bumped into. This is Pausch Oan, the very fellow I did business with prior to our ill-fated stay in Yulmore. I waited and you did not come. Then the Mistral came, but his visits did not continue. I am truly sorry, Pausch Oan. Things did not proceed as planned. Is there aught we can do for you by way of an apology? Perhaps. Where the dry return a cavern to the north is home to giant crabs. We do not fear the crabs, for we are the swifter swimmers. But now there is no water. We run and they scuttle close behind, snipping and snapping with their claws. There are too many of them, too many. I believe I can be of assistance here. And what of you, Unskilled? If you've not found a task, you are most welcome to join me. Indeed, I should appreciate the company. Where did dry return? It has a rather ominous ring to it. could track their shells, you must be stronger than you look. I see you reached your quota first again. I shall never be equal in such tasks. Still, I would say we have reduced the local crab population to a far less threatening number. My thanks to both of you. You must have a reward. Nay, Pausus so on. This was to be part of my apology to you, remember? Besides which, the lack of water is our doing, for which we must also make amends. Might I convince you to tell us something about your village instead? I would very much like to learn more of you and your people. Very well, before the flood came, it is said that our ancestral home was found in the seas of the south. It was utterly destroyed by the light. Only those who were out hunting survived. They swam aimless and lost until they spied buildings here on the ocean floor. Strange buildings they were, and long had they stood under the water, yet somehow they had been spared the scars of time and current. These structures provided shelter for my people, protection from the tempest's turbulent waters and the predators which hunted within them. Their very existence seemed a miracle. The first settlers pondered their good fortune. It was clear that the race who had built such wonders had guided their course, and from this day they discerned the truth. That the ancients had chosen us to serve as caretakers of their eternal sanctuary until such time as they return. Thus, if it is judged that your coming and this great vanishing of water was by ancients' design, you will find warm welcome here. A truly astonishing history, yet I cannot help but wonder how will the significance or otherwise of our arrival be decided. The ancients have blessed us with protection and prosperity. If your presence serves to bring us the same, there will be no doubt in the matter. Then it would seem our earlier decision was the correct one. We thank you for the lesson, Pausch 01, and will continue to do all we can to assist your people. Should you desire our help with any other trouble, pray do not hesitate to ask. You should return to the task at hand. Only do try not to overexert yourself, my friend. The risk far outweighs the gain. Be right back. 5 minutes. Ah, unskilled. Have you learned out of note? Fascinating, and precisely the sort of information I was hoping to hear. In fact, if you have a moment, I'd like to borrow your eyes to confirm a theory I've been working on. Come. I will come, but first I have an unlock. Your favorite zone? I don't know, so far I'm not impressed. We'll see. No. Christ's sake. Now, there are two tasks I would have you perform. The first requires you to inspect the buildings which surround the Yondo settlement and know their most distinctive characteristics. For the second, I wish you to use this knife to take scrapings from one of the remnant walls. Pray be as thorough as you can. I shall be waiting here for the results of your investigations. Okay, Stola. By your command, I guess. Inspect the structures in the opal cups for distinctive features. You may move. Oh my god. Tall, slender towers feature many elaborate windows, the likes of which you have seen nowhere else. Wow. Very distinctive feature, I guess. Boring. You set the point of the knight against the wall, but even after applying considerable pressure, you cannot remove so much as a flake of stone. Okay, it's obvious it was built by aliens. And what have you discovered? Well, it was built by aliens and it has windows. Yes, I would agree that the windows are most distinctive. It seemed the structure appeared the same to both your sight and mine. And you say you could not so much as scratch the wall, even with all your might behind the blade? Unskilled, everywhere I turn in this place, my gaze is drawn by peculiar materials, for which I do not have a name. The buildings I had you investigate are prime examples. They may appear to be constructed of ordinary stone, but I assure you, it is nothing of the sort. If pressed, I would describe the substance as a composite of several mineral properties, blended to create a material of unparalleled durability. Even the Ronkan Empire, once the greatest power in Northrend, produced nothing which compares to this level of perfection. Yeah, it's the Borg! But if not the Ronkans, then who? Who were these ancients Yondo claim as the architects of their sanctuary? Perfection. Yeah, do you you told me that you don't you haven't watched any Star Trek series? There is a pseudo race in Star Trek, one of the greatest villains in the entire franchise. They are called the Borg. They are cybernetic organisms, and they assimilate every species they encounter, and they have a collective hive mind. They don't have. They raise, once they assimilate you, they raise all of your individuality, and you become part of their collective. They are one mind, one consciousness, and they seek perfection. That's why they assimilate other races, just like here in perfection. Oh yeah? Interesting. Yeah. But if not the Ronkans, then who? Who were these ancients the Yondo claim as the architects of their sanctuary? I suspect our answer lies with the reason Ahmed Selk withdrew here to the Tempest. He may simply have wished to retreat somewhere where mere mortals would struggle to reach, but there are many such remote locations. Why here specifically? Emmett Selk is devoted to his role, and thus we might assume his choice of stronghold somehow serves the ASEAN agenda. Or mayhap is a place more dear to him than any other. Are you saying this was built by ancient Asians? That is my theory, that these structures are remnants of a time before history, of a star that was yet whole and unbroken. Such traces in the source would have been obliterated by the succession of umbral calamities, but here, in the first, they might have remained untouched for millennia. A copy of the mural in the Kitana Ravel. Almet presented it to me during my visit to Fanau after our victory in Kalusia. Here in the first scene, by Emmett Selk's own words, it depicts a city of eons past and the disaster which befell it. The design is much simplified, of course, but do you see the similarities between its towers and those you have just inspected? Actually, I don't see any similarities. But whatever you say, Stola, I mean, you're always right about stuff. We're close to the truth, I feel. Let us search the surrounds for another tower, one which matches the picture near enough to remove all doubt. Yeah? From what I've seen, not more than sand and more sand lies to the east, and the south held no such structures. I suggest we try our luck further to the northwest. Okay? You may view the Kitana Ravel mural at any time during this quest by using the relevant item. The quest destination will not be displayed on the map. You must search for a structure which resembles the buildings in the mural, then inspect it from the survey point. The survey point will be found nearby in a location which allows a full view of the structure. Yeah, it's in the vicinity, I guess. What? Where the fuck is this? Ah, the theater. I'll go there later. Oh, okay. Aha! Aye, this is the mural writ large. Though I cannot guess at its purpose, it must have been an imposing sight. How much of the tower's height lies hidden beneath the ground, I wonder. Centuries of our history have settled upon such ruins, countless layers of dust and sediment. An entire civilization, its existence forgotten by all except a handful of Asians. And yet it did exist. They lived here in this city. But let us focus on what we've learned thus far. The Ondo chieftain spoke of mysteries stirring, of a land illuminated. Judging by his words, he believes this phenomenon related to the ancients' return. Thus can we surmise that what the Ondo saw shining in the abyss was, in all likelihood, yet another remnant of this age-old civilization. And who else would light the lanterns, as Ryan put it, than Emmett Selk himself? It is almost certain he is there. But if we are to find this stronghold in a timely manner, it seems gaining the Ondo's trust remains our swiftest path forward. I only hope our deeds are enough to win them over. Thank you for assisting me with my investigations. I shall seek out our companions and share what we have learned. Much as I would like to tell you to sit down and leave the rest to us, your condition remains that we make all reasonable haste. If you are not too weary, it may be useful to speak with Pausch on again and ask if there is aught else he is willing to divulge. Okay. Ah, Alfino's friend. You and your companions have done much to repair the damage caused when the waters parted. Anything else you can do? Have you been to the walls of the Forgotten? Are they the ruins to the northwest? Yes, that is the sacred site of which I speak. Would it be that your footsteps were guided there by the ancients? I believe it may be so. Listen then, and I will tell you of our plans to bring light to the walls, that we might answer the shining call of the illuminated land. We have requested a finless craftsman to shape for us a sacred lamp. He is odd for a land dweller, choosing as he does to live in the ocean, but his skill is beyond question. It is concerning, however, that we have heard nothing of his progress. If you were to visit this artisan, and return with our long-awaited light, then any doubt as to your purpose will be laid to rest. His name is Grenold. You will find his workshop in a metal structure to the south. Okay. Let's go. This is cozy. Oh, that's just great. That is me mind playing tricks on me now. Look, Reynolds, someone's come to visit you at the bottom of the bleeding ocean, or might be as you're a ghost there. Go on, foul shade. Feast yourself on me, rotten soul. I've got no use for it. A craftsman, what can't craft is more pointless than a sea slug with a doming hammer, and that's an insult to bloody sea slugs. Reynolds appears to be suffering from a crushing bout of self-doubt. Maybe you can help psych him up. Wouldn't be trying to raise me spirits now, would you, spirit? Now that you'd expect from a servant of the netherworld. Yeah, we met before. Might be as we cross paths back in the Crystarium, but I don't reckon we've been formally introduced. Name's Grenold, and this here is meant to be my underwater sanctuary, a place where I can give myself over to me work, far from the distractions of the outside world. And yet, here you stand, now that's so damned important. Now what's so damned important that you dive all the way down to the bottom of the bleeding tempest to bother me? Ah, the Ondos lamp. God curse me empty head. I've not so much as made a start. It's worth less than a sea slug. I'm worth less than a sea slug. Nay, the slime left by a sea slug. Me delivery dates long past, me workbench is untouched, and I call myself a bleeding artisan. You've heard their beliefs, have you? Bringing light to them ruins will be an act of deep religious and cultural significance. And it was my privilege as a craftsman to be tasked with providing a ritual instrument worthy of the occasion. But I just can't bloody well. Gah, my mind's bleeding blank. It's like I've pissed away the last drop of inspiration. Tell me you've got somewhat to show me. Somewhat that's give me muse a right good kick up the arse. Beyond the want to order the coming of these ancients, so their answering light got to blaze with the right kind of brightness, like the spark of life caught in a crystal. But just being sparkly, it's not enough. It's got to dance with joy and sorrow and sense of hardship endured. You know what I mean? Granto seeks a particular kind of inspiration, the kind that crystallizes only at the culmination of a long and tragic tale. Complete any of the role quest lines available at the Wandering Stairs in the Crystarium, then return to Grenold once more. Ah! Alright. So I guess we have to return to Calusia. And continue. It was right. Right? The closest one? It doesn't matter, I can fly. I haven't... Oh, yeah. I haven't completed the map here. Emily, we will fly! Since I met you, I became such a fucking completionist. I cannot stand myself. Ah, yeah, you're correct. Unskilled, my friend, my partner. I trust you're ready. Good, good. That is very good indeed. before we depart to face Andrea, for what I pray is the final time, I have a confession to make. I may have been somewhat misleading when I intimated the tremendousness of my martial prowess. In truth, it rather pales in comparison to yours. I kinda figure it out. Do tell. You must be terribly crestfallen, I'm sure. It's my deepest regret that I allowed you to labor under the misapprehension that we were equals for so long. In my defense, I must say that when I realized that an exceedingly powerful warrior you truly are, I was dumbstruck. I struggled to conceive of how even to broach the subject. Furthermore, I must admit that a great majority, nay, all of our efforts to hone our skills in preparation for the battle to come have been entirely for my benefit, that the disparity between us might not be so readily apparent. I think that my insecurity drove me to postpone this fateful day for so long. In my cowardice, I allowed Andrea to assemble a party of followers, where before we might have only to contend with the one foe, we must now confront 5, and for all my preparation I am still no more likely to be an asset to you than a hindrance. But perhaps that need to be the case, that need not to be the case. In discussing this grim reality with Miss Solvara while you were away, hit upon a potential stratagem. Call you render Ray's greatest strengths and weakness, her preternatural hearing. We can be reasonably certain that Andrea is possessed of it as well. Therefore, if you were to fashion a device that could produce a loud noise at will, you could use it to secure an advantage in your battle. What I lack in strength of arms, I may make up for with skill. While it will not guarantee us victory, it will surely bring us one step closer. 1,000 pardons, Master Reek, but I am come to deliver a message from your Lord Father. Daddy, what does he want with me now? It's come to your Lord Father's attention that you have acquainted yourself rather poorly as a bounty hunter and have brought terrible shame upon your family name. He commands you to cease all such activities at once and return to the city forthwith. Should you fail to do so, you will be stripped of your citizenship and family name. No further financial assistance will be provided. Oh dear. Tell my father and my mother the following, that I am Lurik, proud bounty hunter, slayer of sin-eaters, that I have no intention of renouncing this cause, and that they are free to do as they deem fit. Tell them that if they have no son, then I have no parents, that I have no family save Miss Olvara, who has shown me more love than they ever have. Very good, Master Reed. I shall deliver your reply to them at once. Right, now that's settled, we can get to work crafting that giant noisemaker of ours. Let us consult with the craftsman of the crystalline mean at once. I dare say you lit a fire in him in skill. I never thought I'd see the day when he'd muster the courage to say anything like that to his parents. Cringy! What's all this then? You got something that needs making? Indeed I do, good sir. I wish to commission the production of a device that can generate a tremendously loud sound. It must be small and light enough to be carried by a single individual as well. Ain't that one of the stranger requests I've heard? Well, if it's just noise you want, then I'll wager we could make do with a special blend of fire sand. I think I've got just the recipe for your needs. I'll need some choice ingredients, mind. You'll need to go and fetch them for me. Fetch? What precisely is it that you require? Well, there's this one particular beastie native to Calusia that's got a singular diet and leaves these massive dung piles. Oh my god, we will bring shit again. The fresher the better, if it please. A few varieties of grasses native to Raktika. Oh, and some iron ore from Amarang. I can give you a list if you like. Wheat. I will need to travel to the far corners of Torvrand and back. Oh dear, this is rather more involved than I... No more excuses. I will do whatever needs be done to see this through the end. My friend, I will not impose these tasks upon you. I insist that you remain here while I go and fetch the required materials. Okay. How do I go down? It was a series of surprisingly harrowing experiences, but in the end I managed to obtain the materials necessary for the construction of my secret weapon. The gentleman was rather accommodating, despite being somewhat put out that I had not any guild to pay him for his labor. He was nevertheless willing to teach me how to craft the arrows myself. He said he found my industriousness endearing. I must confess, despite being utterly exhausted by all this busy work, it has been somewhat refreshing. And now that my noisemaker arrows are ready. I cannot wait but to put them to the proof. If all goes to plan, the explosions should be loud enough to incapacitate Andrea for a time. Let us put an end to her tale, my friend, and in so doing write the opening of ours, that of Rick and skilled bounty hunters extraordinary. Come, Praktica and glory await. Okay. Oh, this woman and her singing. My favorite music so far. Oh, an instance. Let's go. If I make one small request before we begin. Please, for the love of the gods, please try not to succumb to any visions of people's past. This really could not be a worse time. Well, are you still with me in the here and now? Excellent. Then we can attend to the task at hand without worry. Let us lay to rest our fellow hunters and grant Randa Ray the peace a hero deserves. Come at me, motherfuckers! Благодаря. Oh my god, these guys! Look at him running. Oh, fuck! Whew. Whoa. Woo. We won. Even seeing it and saying it, it hardly feels real. Huh? What's that you've got there? Wicked White, you are... You're Randa Ray. The real Randa Ray. I should have never betrayed your trust. Never again, I swore. Never again. Balam quits the Shadow Keeper. The flute. Come what may, we would face it together, no matter how hard it got, or how terrified I was. That's what it means to let someone into your heart, knowing full well that nothing lasts forever. Welcome the fear and the pain, the sorrow. When I lost my parents, when we laid the Keeper low, you felt it too, didn't you? Place our fate in a desperate, hopeless attempt to save everyone, and to see it amount to naught in the end. What else could we do but offer up that tiny remainder in a final futile effort, even knowing deep down it was worth but a few moments more? What is this? It gave me fear, and that fear gave me strength. Wait, there's so much I want to ask. I don't understand. What was she talking about? It's not right, it's not fair, heroes sacrificing themselves for nothing, becoming villains, being forgotten. Thank you, Unskilled. I could have never gotten this far without your help. I had no idea who Randa Ray or any of the other warriors of light truly were. It was all ancient history to me. Why would I care for who some eaters once were? I was no better than my parents, judging them out of hand, dismissing their sacrifice, not bothering to look deeper. Made it all easier to pursue Andrea for my own amusement. I pray I've made up for it in part by helping lay Render Ray's soul to rest. Miss Olvara is probably worried sick about us both. We should return to Calusia and let her know we're alright. My little Rick, unskilled, congratulations on a job well done. And from one hunter to another, thank you for helping Renda Ray to achieve a measure of peace. She was a hero to me too, and it broke my heart to know what had become of her. Have your legacy tarnished so, have the world call you villain, even still, but at least I can take comfort in knowing she can finally enjoy a long rest. Whatever others may say, we will preserve the truth in story and song. Renda Ray, the bravest hunter there ever was, and more importantly, a true friend to those she held dear. I can only hope to measure up to her example someday. For now, however, I say we return to the Crystarium and raise a glass in celebration. Andrea's bounty has been paid to us in full, my friend, so come, let us eat, drink, and be merry. I've been meaning to ask Unskilled, but I have the impression you are rather more acquainted with these warriors of light than you've been letting on. What exactly do you know about them? That is so preposterous tale that I have no choice but to assume it is true. I'm sorry. Offering them their lives. First cross the rift, then to hold the flute, wicked white. It must have taken her so much courage to see it through in those final moments. A courage born not of desire for glory or dedication to an ideal, but of fear and love for those with whom she had forged unshakable bonds, her comrades. I won't pretend that we have anything even approaching such a powerful connection, but I would like to think that if you were in mortal peril, that I would fly to your side without hesitation. Having said that, if I were tested as Randor Rays were, if I were challenged to offer up my life for others without even knowing if it would amount to aught, I doubt I could rise to the occasion. I am a child and a fool who knows little of the world. I have been coddled and spoiled and have only just tasted the bitter fruits of life that you and countless others sup on daily. You are made of sterner stuff, Unskilled, far sterner than me, and that is why I know I can never walk your path. Do you wish you could? How could I not? I cannot recall a time I have felt happier and more alive than when I have traveled with you. But you have countless other journeys ahead of you, don't you? For you are destined for greater challenges, whereas I am suited to rather more pedestrian affairs. Know your limits, as Miss Olvara used to say. Meeting her again after all these years, seeing how much older and more frail she'd become, made me realize how little time together we have left. She shouldn't have to live out her days living alone and in squalor. I have decided it will not be so. I shall return to Calusia and attend to her needs, for I would do my utmost to repay the love and kindness that made me the man I am today. Ah, he's such a cool guy now. Therefore, though it pains me to say, I fear this celebration must also mark the end, or at the very least a tentative suspension of the glorious partnership that was Rick and Unskilled bounty hunters extraordinaire. Should you ever find yourself in Calusia, however, do come and pay us a visit. Nice. Okay, I leave the continuation of the main story quest for Monday. That was all for today. Thank you all for being with me. It was a good story. The dancer story was a good one, and I really liked this Lurik at the end. He became such a cool guy. It was a good story. Yeah. So I'll see you all on Monday. Thank you, Emily, for being with me. And yeah. You too. I'll see you on Monday. Until then, good night and be safe.